Guys, I know the ban list dropped on Thursday, not yesterday. I recorded this yesterday, but because audio levels fucked up, I didn't end up uploading it. I'm uploading it now, so enjoy. So, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is entering a bit of a transitionary period in the sense that the ban list just dropped, like yesterday, I think, and we are not playing under this ban list yet. We have one more event or two more events for some of us where we are still going to be playing under the old ban list, and as a result, I thought I wanted to show you a deck profile for the deck I'm currently going to be playing, and also how it's going to change as the new ban list comes around. The deck I'm going to be playing is a budget version of Aerosol TCG's Earth Machine deck profile. Budget version in terms of just the big money cards are cut out and replaced with other things. So there are still a lot of things here, that a lot of cards here, like hand traps and stuff, that like some very budget players would not consider budget, and I'm very happy to give like alternatives for that. So I'll just get on with it. I won't go into too much detail of what all these cards do. If you want to see how this deck performs, I'd suggest checking out Aerosol TCG's channel, as well as Sir Emanon's channel, because Sir Emanon has some tournament matches where Aerosol TCG has played, so you can see how he's playing the deck. And I will show you probably like one or two, probably just one combo at the end, so you can see the basic combo and understand how this deck works, along with some like your basic follow-ups. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see. So, first of all, you have 12 different starters. You have Machina Redeployment, which is a starter because it can search Machina Metal Cruncher, which can search your Infinite Track Brutal Dozer, which kind of gets your combo going. And then for the same purpose, we have 3 Heavy Forward, which instead of searching your Brutal Dozer directly, you search your Harvester with, and then Harvester, you can just normal summon it and search a Brutal Dozer. So that is your 12 starters. You have no reason not to run all 12. It's massive consistency. Then in terms of our then for our actual Infinite Track engine, this is the main engine within this deck. We're going to be running 3 copies of Infinite Track Brutal Dozer. This is like kind of like the heart and soul. That's why Aerosol TCG often refers to the deck as Dozer Control. Essentially all it is all the level 5 Infinite Tracks have an effect where you contribute an Earth Machine you control to special summon itself, and then they gain an effect. So this one gains the effect of special summoning a different Earth Machine, a different Infinite Track from your deck. Double Trencher. Trencher is just really good within all kinds of combos and follow-ups. Same summoning condition as, same way to summon itself with the effect as Brutal Dozer. So I'll actually move my mouse out the way here. And then you can also banish it from the graveyard to target a level 5 or lower Infinite Track and revive it. Next up, Tunneler. Aerosol himself plus a few people are cutting this to 1, but I really like being able to have this as part of my next follow-up, which is really cool. Essentially, what it does is similar to Trencher in that it can banish itself from graveyard to activate an effect, but instead of reviving something, it's Avarice for Earth Machines. So you literally just target 5 of your Earth Machines, shuffle them back, and then draw 2. And we'll see. You'll see how good that is later on. So next we're running Anchor Drill. Anchor Drill is just a really good follow-up card, and just a really nice normal summon, because on normal it just lets you summon any Earth Machine, and it also has a level manipulation effect where it can target any Earth Machine you control, and both of the levels become the combination of the sum of those 2 levels. So if you target a level 5, then that's 2 level 9s, that's VFD currently, or any other rank 9 going into the next format. And I did not mention, but Harvester also has the same level manipulation effect, except that's a level 2. So that's it for all the Infinite Tracks. And then carrying on, this is just some engine cards. So first of all, for Machinas, we're playing Fortress and Citadel. These are just great. Fortress is just an insane extender, because you can discard machines from your hand that have a level of 8 or more, and that lets you special summon it. And because it's an old ass card, and it still works, it doesn't activate, first of all, because it's a summoning condition. Second of all, it can actually discard itself as one of the cards. So this plus any machine lets you summon it from your hand, which is really cool. Then for trains, we're just playing 1 Bullet Train and 1 Derrick Train. Bullet Train we play because it's actually part of like our main engine and forms a resource loop with a gearbox, because it has an effect where during the end phase it can target an Earth Machine in your graveyard and add it back to hand. And this is an effect where if it's added from your deck or grave to your hand, it can search any Earth Machine with 500 attack and or defense. And our targets for that are our Anchor Drill, our Trencher, and our Tunneler. So we basically get a search every turn, and then Derek Rain's just an extender, but also obviously it's specific and we can't search it, and it lets us make train plays if we want to just OTK. That's all the little engine cards, I believe. Then actually I'll kind of change the order I'm doing this in. Our non-starter spells, we're only playing two copies of Urgent Schedule. If you want to play another spell, to be more accurate to Aerosol's deck, what you would want to do is cut a copy of Tunneler and have a Called by the Grave in here. But I feel more. I know both of them are basically, in my opinion, kind of providing security, and I feel more secure in the fact that I can draw two multiple turns in a row than I can stop an Ash Blossom or a Drawn on Lockbird, or a Lancia, which is surprisingly good against this deck. But yeah, currently it's just Urgent Schedule. Only two in the main because it's really good going second and on like follow-up turns, but it's not very good on your first turn. So that's basically it. I should probably put these all in one pile instead of splitting them up into loads of different ones. But now onto interruptions. So first of all, your mandatory interruption at 3, in my opinion, is triple Overdrive. It's basically just a trap that says you can target a machine you control, special summon a Machina with a different name from your deck or hand, and then pop the cards that you control. So all this does is gets out your Citadel from either hand, deck, or graveyard. Because if it's in your hand or deck, then obviously just specials it by its effect. And if it's in your graveyard, Citadel has an effect where if something your opponent, if something you control, an Earth machine you control gets destroyed by battle or card effect, it can just revive itself, which is insane. And obviously that lets you always access Citadel. And if you haven't read Citadel before, basically it's like a Raigeki on legs. It's really cool. And then for the rest of our interruptions, I'm just playing a ton of hand traps. So first of all, I've got the Gamma package because it's just really good, and then triple Ash Blossom and triple Nibiru. This probably isn't going to be changing going into the next format. This is kind of already optimized for it, and I'm pretty sure this will still be fine for this upcoming tournament. Let me put my higher rarity Ash Blossom on top here. But if you want to replace these with like other cards, or like if there's other interruptions you want to use, what I was running before, let me just get them out, was I was actually running triple copies of Trap Trick and triple copies of Torrential Tribute in place of the Gammas and Nibirus, and then the driver was just another copy of Urgent Schedule. But this is what I was running. I was also running like I've also kind of experimented a little bit with double Trap Trick, double Torrential, and and then you could also run double copies of Needle Sealing, or you could just run this instead of Torrential, because they essentially kind of do the same thing, but they're both better in niche circumstances. And Trap Trick's actually really nice because it gives you access to Overdrive, which, other than the effect to access your Citadel, it also has an effect where it can banish itself from the graveyard to target 3 of your Earth machines that are banished and or in your graveyard, shuffle them back into your deck, and then draw a card. So this is like your best way to recycle your banished resources, and Trap Trick does let you access that really well. So this is a really, really cool thing to go into. It's perfectly fine to run this. This is like the cheaper option. However, going into the next format, I'd assume it's going to speed up quite a bit now that VFD is out the format. So I don't really think these are like as safe to go into anymore. So I would invest in hand traps if you could. Onto the actual extra deck now. So first of all, for the Link ones, we're playing 3 Infinitrack Goliath. Just needs any non-Link Infinitrack, and all we use this for is to fill up the graveyard so that we can shuffle these back off of Tunneler to draw 2, and instead of clogging up our deck, we just put stuff back in the extra deck, and that way we have a better chance to draw into the interruptions and side deck cards. So that's all that. Then for Link 2s, our most important one, which I'll put in the middle, is Anger Knuckle. Anger Knuckle basically just sets up our resource loop alongside it sets up the aforementioned resource loop that I mentioned with Bullet Train, because the thing with Bullet Train is its effect where if it's in the graveyard, it can add something back. It can only activate if it was sent to the graveyard this turn. That's the only time it can activate in the end phase. However, this lets you send, I think, any card from your hand or field to the graveyard to target a level 10 Earth Machine in your graveyard and revive it, and in defense and negate its effects. And that way you can get your bullet train back onto the field, and then in some way or another get it, like either your opponent runs over it or you pop it, you get rid of it with something like an Overdrive or a Citadel, or if you're playing torrential and stuff, or even like an Aerosol, like anything, some way it's probably gonna end up in the graveyard, and then during the end phase of that turn, once it is in the graveyard, it gets to add back your gearbox, then you get another, you get to search, like usually Anchor Drill, and you have a follow-up. Okay, so yeah, the effect to revive, you have to send a monster. I haven't been sending spells or traps, so don't worry, I haven't been cheating. But it says you send a monster from your hand or field to the graveyard to revive your level 10, and then it also has an effect where it can revive itself from the graveyard, and that only needs you to send a card from your hand or field to the graveyard. So that's a pretty cool interaction, because that means if you do have a set urgent schedule, you can send your urgent schedule, and urgent schedule has an effect where you get a search if it's been sent. So that's if it's been sent from field to grave, well, set. So that's really, really nice. So oh yeah, I should probably explain the others as well. So Ancient Gear Ballista is just part of your combo. It searches your Ancient Gearbox, gets you an initial search off of Ancient Gearbox, and gets Ancient Gearbox into circulation in your resource loop. And then Cleafort Genius is only in here because sometimes I need to make space and I don't want to waste my Ballista, and also because I had space because I can't afford a Zeus. So, and I already had the Genius. Genius is kind of nice. I haven't really gone into it before, but it theoretically is quite nice because it's got an effect where if monsters are summoned to the zones it points to at the same time, which you can do with an urgent schedule, you get a search for a level 5 or higher Earth Machine. So that's really, really cool. But like I said, that hasn't really come up for me. The only real reason I use it is to make space and then later shuffle it back off of the Tunneler again. Onto the Ixies. So I'm running a Gigant X. Gigant X is just in here because you can make it with some combos using Anchor Drill, and then Anchor Drill can, and then this can search a Cycle Reader from your deck if you side it in against Drytron. River Stormer is part of your combo and is probably your most important Ixies. Essentially, it's any 2 level 5s, and then you get to search any Earth Machine. And it also has an effect where if you have an Earth Machine link, you can tribute it to revive this. I'll check if it's Earth Machine Link or just Machine Link. Any Machine Link, but all our links are Earth Machines anyway. So if you tribute a Machine Link, it can revive itself, and Goliath has an effect where if it's sent from field to graveyard, it can attach itself to any Xyz monster on the field. So a lot of the time what you're going to be doing is this summons itself in defense position, because you have to, and then this can attach itself, and then you just get a free search. And then you can link this off into another Goliath and help fill up your graveyard for yet another Tunneler. So that's really, really cool. Then onto like some of our big boys. So I'm just playing the 1 rank 8, which is Dengesu. You can also play Photon Lord if you want to play another rank 8, or in Hope Harbinger. They're really good. This is just a really, 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 really good card in this deck for a lot of reasons. One, when you summon it, you can actually grab back one of your banished resources. 2, if you can summon Zeus, then that is already a 4 material Zeus. If you can afford Zeus, I can't. And 3, if you're trying to use your big boy Citadel's effect to blow up your opponent's board, the way that works is you target a machine monster you control, like the Earth Machine, doesn't matter, and then we usually target itself or like a bullet train anyway, and then basically destroy it and every card your opponent controls with attack less than or equal to that card. But this obviously says if a card you control will be destroyed, attach material from this card instead, meaning you can blow up your opponent's board completely for free. Then onto our 9s, so we have Enter Blathnir here, mainly to deal with stuff like Dragoon and also to rip cards. Earth Slicer, because it can help clear the board and set us up for OTKs, and it's just really good for clearing back row, and it's just a great card. And then of course we're playing VFD because it's VFD, and this is going to be our last weekend where we can play it. In fact, I am tempted to, because of this, play Virtual World this weekend, because it might be the last chance I get to play it where it's actually good. But I just like this deck so much more. It's so much more fun. However, if you're wondering what I'm going to replace this with, probably it's going to be an Abyss Dweller once the banlist has arrived, and if not, it might be a Hyperiton, because Hyperiton is kind of nice. However, with the TK Calamities 1-card combo you set up at the start, you kind of have to detach, so you can't really do that with Hyperiton. So it's much better to just go into Blathnir anyway with the rank 9 combo, and then Enter Blathnir just rips a card, and then you carry on with the combo as usual. And then finally, for the last 3 cards, we just have the train package, which I really doubt I need to explain what these do, but in case you don't know, these 2 just need any 2 level 10s to be made, and then this one can get slapped on top of either one of them. So this one basically can detach to burn for 2k, burn your opponent, that is. This one can detach to target a face-up monster on the field and make it unaffected for the rest of the turn. So usually you target itself because it's got a 4k booty, and it just becomes very difficult to get over, and that gives you the chance to next turn slap this on. And then this card has the effect where basically it's got it's 4k, and it can attack up to a number of times of how many materials it has +1. So even if it has 0 materials, it can still attack once, but if you have like 2 materials or 3 materials, it can attack like 3 or 4 times. It also has an effect where you can detach one to boost itself up to 6k until the end of the turn. However, if you do that, then you can't attack with any other monsters this turn. Also, it's multiple attacks. You can only attack multiple times on monsters with this, so keep that in mind. It does not limit you, however, on how many times you can attack each monster. So if your opponent has something like a Cyber's Wicked, if they're playing Rathmex, which came up in Emanon's tournament, then you can attack multiple times into it and just beat the shit out of them. So that is the entire main and extra deck. And now onto the side deck, which, where have I placed my side deck? I was still in the deck box, that's fine. So first of all, the most important cards of the side deck are our Nibiru token, which is a Magic the Gathering Meteorite card. And then I've got the Field Center here, which is the custom made from America Styx Master of Shadows one, so that's really cool. And then for the actual side deck, so first of all we have our anti-Drytron cards, which is Triple Droll and Cycle Reader. As I mentioned, you only need the 1 Cycle Reader because you can search it off of the Gig and text. You don't need to play more. Then you've got your triple copies of Skullmeister. Skullmeister is just really good against a lot of decks. It can stop a Mist Search. It can stop any of the Eldritch cards. It's just really, really good. Yeah, there's no reason not to play it. Then I'm playing Triple Lancia because I don't like Dino and it stops VW, which is for sure going to be running rampant. I made the mistake of only running 2 of these last week because I am big dumb and thought it would be enough, but clearly not. I drew into one of them against Bird Up once, and to be fair, it did stop him for a turn, but he had that game in the bag anyway. And then finally, I've just got the last copy, the 3rd copy of Urgent Schedule. If I am going second, I might as well cite it in. Alternatively, this could be a red reboot, which is what it was until literally about a few seconds before recording this video, and then just some backward removal. So the way I'm doing it, because I don't have a Harpy's Feather Duster, if you do, you should copy Aerosol TCG and have 3 Twisters and 1 Feather Duster. But right now what I'm doing is 2 Cyclone, 2 Duster. That's the entirety of the main, extra, and side. And now I'm going to show you a quick combo. We're going to grab any starter, so obviously you can start with any of your starters, so that could be Harvester, Heavy Forward, Metal Cruncher, or Redeployment. I'm going to save Redeployment because Redeployment can do the rank 9 combo, but I'm just going to start with probably Harvester. Just because I like Harvester. You're going to normal summon your starter, or obviously search your starter first, and then normal summon it, and then use it to search a copy of Brutal Dozer. Obviously, if this is Metal Cruncher, then you'll have to reveal 3 copies of Brutal Dozer, and then add that. We're going to tribute this to Special Metal Cruncher, and then Metal Cruncher is Special the Brutal Dozer, and then Brutal Dozer is going to Special Summon a copy of Trencher from your deck. Then we're going to overlay both of these. Why is Trencher a secret rare and then Dozer is just common? Honestly, it's big sad. Dozer needs a rarity upgrade. Please, Konami, if you're watching this, upgrade Dozer. It's just such a good card. Here we're going to detach either one, but I'd say probably the Dozer's best to detach here, especially if you've already got the Harvester, and if you did use Harvester, just so they don't like DD Crow your Trencher here. They probably would anyway later on, but you know, it is what it is. We're going to detach the Search and Earth Machine, and that's going to be Bullet Train. Then here we're going to activate Bullet Train to special summon itself. If you get the Beerwood here, that's completely fine, because what you can just do is use this to add back your starter to your hand, and then you still have like 4 other cards in your hand. Chances are at least one of them is an interruption, and then you can just pass with some interruptions, or at least one interruption, and the starter for next turn. So you're perfectly fine if you're getting a Beirut here, but we're obviously going for the combo here, and we're not going for the Beirut in that case. So if all goes well, then what we can do is link off for Goliath. And of course, what I just said is true if you get Nibiru from any point from here on out, so that's perfectly fine. Then of course we're going to link both of these off into a copy of Ballista. Ballista is going to activate on Link Summon to search a copy of, where is he, Ancient Gearbox, and then Ancient Gearbox is going to activate on search to search out a copy of Tunneler. We're going to activate Tunneler to tribute the Ballista and special summon itself, and then we're going to banish, the Trencher and target our Brutal Dozer, or if we did use Harvester instead of Metal Puncher, then you can target your Harvester here, it doesn't really matter, and summon either one of them. And then we're going to link both of our Infinite Tracks off for copies of Goliath, and then we're just going to link both of our Goliaths off for a copy of Anger Knuckle. Once you've made your Anger Knuckle here, all you're just going to do is banish your copy of Tunneler. Where is he? There he is. And then you're going to target all 4 of your Link monsters that are in here plus your starter. So that's going to be 3 Goliath, 1 Ballista, and Harvester. You're going to shuffle your deck, and you're going to get to draw 2 cards. I'm going to draw the 2 off of Tunneler, and let's see what we drew in this case. We actually drew Gamma Nibiru, so that is insane. That was lucky, but chances are this isn't very well shuffled. Oh, to be fair, it's not terrible. But yeah, then we're going to and of course, I will actually just grab like 3 different cards here, because you will have, in fact, 4 different cards here, because you would have had 4 different cards from the start here. So currently you have 7 cards in your hand, and then during the end phase, you can actually activate your Super Express to target your Brutal Dozer and add it back. But let's see what our other cards were. So we had another Nibiru, an Urgent Schedule, and another Harvester, and a Trencher as our other cards. Fair enough. So obviously what we'd do with this specific hand is we would set that Urgent Schedule so that we don't have to discard, and here we have actually hit the maximum hand size limit. So I suppose probably the best discard here would probably be your Trencher, and then you have your 6 here. And then basically during our opponent's turn at some point, I'm just going to kind of hide the cards that we didn't start with. These are kind of pointless, and let's not worry about the discard. So during our opponent's turn, essentially all we're just going to do is at some point we're going to activate Anger Knuckle to discard our Gearbox and revive our copy of Bullet Train, and then in some way, shape or form we are going to get rid of both of these cards usually. So I don't know, maybe with an Nibiru, doesn't really matter. Either way, they're going to end up in that graveyard, and then during the end phase we can trigger Bullet Train again to add the box, and then box can trigger to add a copy of Anchor Drill here, because that's just a really good follow-up. And then we just have loads and loads of different follow-ups we can go into, because obviously now that we have our this is like the 3 cards we have is Dozer, Anchor Drill, Gearbox. Okay, so for the 1 card VFD, or I guess 1.5 card VFD, what we're going to do is we're just going to have 2 cards in our hand. Obviously wouldn't really want to discard an Nibiru, but whatever, it's just a random card I added. It's just because we need a discard for redeployment. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to activate redeployment. We're going to send whatever card it was in our hand, and we're going to use it to search a copy of Metal Puncher, as well as a copy of Fortress. Well, our 1 copy of Fortress. Then we're going to normal summon Metal Puncher here and use its effect to reveal triple copies of Harvester. One of them just gets randomly added to your hand. but it's all harvester, so it does not matter. And then quite simply, you're going to discard both harvester and fortress to special your fortress. Then you're going to link both of these off into ballista, and we're going to use ballista effect here to search a copy of books, if we can find him. Books effect here is actually going to search trencher, and then we are going to send both of these to the graveyard to revive our fortress. We're going to banish our trencher from our graveyard to target our harvester and revive it, and on summon harvester is going to get this search, and we're of course going to search for dozer. Then we're going to use harvester's level manipulation effect to make both of these level 9, and then of course here we can make the VFD. And if it is VFD, then what you want to do is detach your fortress and declare lights. However, say we're in the format past the ban list and you can't make VFD here, then of course this could have just been an Enter Blathnir, which detaches to rip a card, but I am just going to stick with the calamities here. This is quite important actually. If you do make VFD, then what you need to do is you need to declare dozer first to tribute this before you chain your calamities to detach and declare light, because if you do it the other way around, then that ballista is going to become a light, meaning it's not an earth machine, so dozer can't tribute it anymore. So you want to make this a you want to do it in that order, otherwise it breaks. Then brutal dozer effect is going to activate to special summon tunneler here. Then of course we're gonna stack those up to make Stormer, and then we're gonna detach here to search for a bullet train. However, of course, we can't actually use bullet train's own effect to summon him here, because he requires all monsters we control to be earth machines, and currently none of the monsters we control are earth machines, because this is a light worm and this is a light machine, thanks to calamities. So instead what we can do is discard it to special summon the fortress. Then we can link this off into a Goliath, tribute the Goliath to revive the Stormer, and then attach the Goliath, use the effect of Goliath to attach itself to the VFD. Then we're going to make this into another Goliath, and then link both of our Goliaths into, of course, your boy Anganakul. And then we're going to use the effect of Tunneler to banish itself, and we're going to target Goliath. We're going to target, we're going to target both of the links. We're going to target the box, we're going to target the metal cruncher, and we're going to target the brutal dozer. I would say is probably your best options here to shuffle back. So yeah, we're going to shuffle all of these back. Then of course we're going to draw 2, and just like that. Let's see, we drew double gamma, fair enough. So just recording a quick note here whilst editing, it's potentially a better idea actually to leave your gearbox in the graveyard and shuffle back your fortress instead, because that means you can add back your gearbox during the end of your opponent's turn as well, after you've discarded it, to then revive your bullet train, and that way you do get a search during your opponent's end phase. However, you don't have to do this, because either way you have now shuffled back your ballista into your deck as well, so chances are you're going to be able to just link ballista to grab your box again, and that way you can get another box search anyway, so it doesn't really matter like that. But if you do definitely want that follow-up, then leave your box in the grave and shuffle back your invaluable extender, that is fortress. It's up to you. Both work. It really depends on assessing the situation and what deck you're playing against, of whether a follow-up or just having loads and loads of extension is better. It depends on your hand as well. Make a decision. Also, not to mention, it's also obviously always an option to just not attach a Goliath to your VFD, and that just makes this decision pointless, because you just shuffle back the extra Goliath instead of attaching it, and just like that you can leave both of them in the grave, but it's up to you. So I hope you enjoyed that. That's been really fun. I'm going to up traction because it is a really fun deck, but also at the same time I don't want people knowing what to play against this deck. So am I making a mistake by uploading this? Probably, but we'll see. This has been fun. Cheers for watching. Thank you. Take it easy. Fucking hell.